Well, Randy, this is a beautiful car. This is a 10th anniversary, so it must be a 1980.
1980,
right?
correct, right.
With 1970 being the first year. So this is a 280ZX. By that time, they'd grown a bit. And this was a special package to celebrate the 10th anniversary. Color scheme and all, right? What's the deal on this?
Yeah, they made 2,500 of the black and gold with leather interior, and it's all numbered.
Have you always been a Nissan guy, or
I have always been a Nissan guy. I've owned Nissans since I was a young man. I've always wanted one of these.
Oh, yeah?
I saw one on the showroom floor when I was
like,
couldn't afford it back then. But about 3 years ago, I found this one out in California. I'd been looking for it for a couple of years.
Had this one been completely restored, or?
That's pretty much original.
Pretty much original.
Yeah.
Wow.
The only thing I've done to it is just replace rubber hoses and things like that, and just cleaned it up a bit.
And did you keep that all correct too?
Yes.
All Nissan stuff.
Uh-huh.
Well, you're not screwing around, are you?
No, try not to.
Well, it's great. I like what they did with the color scheme too, because I mean they, accented the headlight buckets there, and the black pinstripe and stuff. It's a really great, and it's a real striking color combo. Gold stripe on the hood bulge, and then to match it with the tan leather interior, it's gorgeous. And is that dark brown console?
Yes.
Stock? That was correct?
That was all original.
Wow.
It had a little over, just under 15,000 miles when I bought it, and it's going to turn over 18,000 by the time I get back home.
Hardly a daily driver.
No. But I'm going to drive it. I drove it all the way from Illinois.
Was it a fun drive down?
It was.
Now, 280, was it 2.8 liter?
Correct. Fuel injected, 2.8 liter.
Let's go look at it.
All right.
Was the gold valve cover stock?
No, that's something that I did.
That's a Randy mod.
That is a Randy mod.
But it looks good. Nissan should have done that.
I think so.
But now they're fuel injected, no carbs, just piping.
Correct.
And that's the air cleaner up there?
Yes, and that's original. Everything else is original on it.
So you're having a good time at the Z-car convention?
Having a great time.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It
right
sure
here
is.
At the headquarters. I mean,
pretty cool, except for the heat.
Except for the heat. Randy, thanks for bringing this anniversary edition 1980 280ZX out.
Thank you.
Well, Vince, this is pretty sweet. This is a 72 240Z.
Yes, sir. January 72.
It's got some Bob Sharp mods, right? I mean,
yes,
what is
sir.
this
It
baby?
does. It does. It's a 72 240Z featuring authentic Bob Sharp racing equipment.
Man, well, she looks like she's longer. Has the nose been extended?
Yes, sir. That's a G nose featuring the IMSA package, which is basically a 70s race setup. This was built for street, though.
It was, eh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Built for street by Mr. Warren Powers.
Interior-wise, was this from that build, that original build? These Recaros in the orange and black.
Yes, sir. They are. Those are Recaro Spectrums. Have been out of production for probably 30 years. I've rewrapped everything in leather, of course, to try to update everything and make it a little more modern.
Now these are hatchbacks. Can you pop the hatch for me? Are those your headlight covers?
Yes, sir. For if you're going to a performance driving experience or a PDX, you would put the solids on so you don't take a chance of damaging the fiberglass headlight covers, of course.
Close it down?
Certainly. It just drops.
Well, it actually sounds like a whale. Not only the whale.
A little bit, yeah. A little nature blended in there. That's the Nissan Infiniti thing. Sure, sure.
And well, yeah, I mean the back end looks great. Now, is it a stock engine in this? Or that's probably been breathed on too, right?
No, sir. It is a numbers matching engine with 73,000 original miles.
But tweak.
Features the electronic distributor, Nismo wires, Mikuni 44s, of course the Mallory coils. You got to have that on a Bob Sharp package.
K&N filters and headers down there?
Yes, sir. Equidistant header, all refinished. It incorporates stock as well as race features, so it makes it very balanced. That's what I like about this car. It drives balanced, it looks balanced. It's a very nice combination.
Love the Bob Sharp racing.
Yes, sir. That's a very unobtainable valve cover.
Yeah.
And I was blessed to be able to, have that come with it. And of course, I try to make the best of everything else as well.
She looks really nice. Now,
thank you.
I'll let you close this.
Yes, sir.
There's a trick, right?
Yeah, you just drop it from about there, and it just sounds great. She's lined up good.
Sounds great. Looks great. Now, and you're a Nissan guy, right?
I'm a Nissan Infiniti master technician. Yes, sir.
So
I've been working Nissan Infiniti since about 1987.
It's probably right that you have this car.
Yeah. Well, my daily driver is a Q45. Two lazy boys at a Bose radio. You can't go wrong in Atlanta traffic. But this is the weekend toy, and of course, it's a passion.
Are you having a good time today?
Oh, fantastic! Look at all these cars and people. This is awesome.
It's a cool show. Vince,
Nissan's done well.
Thanks for bringing this baby out. Well, JR, this is a fabulous machine. I heard this baby fire up this morning outside the hotel. It was my wake-up call. This thing shook the earth.
It does. It does.
So what do we look? This is actually a Paul Newman race car, right?
Yes, it is. It is a tube frame IMSA All-American GT car. All-American GT by virtue of the fact that it was built in Danbury, Connecticut by Bob Sharp Racing.
Man, you can see from the roof and some of it that it's a Z car, but it's huge compared to a Z car.
It had to be this wide because we had to shove everything under there.
Pretty competitive?
No.
Really?
No, it had a lot of teething problems. It was really ahead of its time. We had the groundwork down and that worked out fairly well, but there were some problems in trying to get all the packaging into this car. For instance, the radiators are actually in the rear fenders.
Wow. Well, certainly the cockpit is definitely full race, all business. And I mean, a gauge for every imaginable thing, but it's just the driver and the power, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. And this is all analog. The only electronics on the entire car are the ignition system.
Really?
Everything else is mechanical.
Man, and like you say, it's radiators back here and
radiators are in the fenders, the oil tank's back here, the gearbox is back here. That's out of a Gurney Eagle Indy car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All the pumps and the alternator are at the back of the car.
And adjustable wing?
Yes.
Test them down, get the right downforce?
Get the right downforce, adjust it. Not ground effect. There was a panel underneath that we've left off just for ease of access right now. But it didn't have any tunnels or diffusers or anything else that did run now.
Again, I mean, it's thunderous. What's the engine?
It is a 4.4 liter Nissan President V8, and it's a monster.
Let's look at it. You know, it's not that big.
No.
And it made a big sound.
It always did. The very first motor made 1,000 horsepower on the dyno. We actually thought it was going to knock the doors down to the dyno room. It shook them so badly.
So what all was done here?
Push rod, aluminum heads, twin turbo.
Wow. And I mean, it's tube frame. This is just full-blown race.
Yeah, just a simple race car.
Just a little race car. Got to be a crowd pleaser.
I hope.
JR, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
1980 280Z Paul Newman race car.
Absolutely.
Michael, I know this is a Z-car convention, but I got to tell you, this little 2000 Roadster just blew me away. I was like, this thing's so beautiful.
Thank you.
This is a 67
Yes.
2000 Roadster. And arguably, I mean, this is really where the 240Z came from, right?
Yes, it is. This is the granddaddy of all these cars that are sitting out here today.
But this is not just a stock 2000 Roadster. This has been breathed on.
Yes, it's had a full frame-off restoration. Literally every nut and bolt has been touched, massaged, replaced, or replated, and we have gone all the way from the front end to the rear end of this.
Wow. She's lower, isn't she?
Yes, absolutely.
How'd you do that?
There's not much you need to do on a Roadster to get it low. So what we're doing is putting competition springs that were available from the factory, racing springs, competition sway bar, and really that's all you do.
How about the wheels and brakes?
The wheels are 16-inch Watanabes. That's a Japanese market wheel that is based basically on that classic Mini Light design.
Nice. How about the rear end?
The rear end is a 4 to 8-inch.
Not screwing around there either.
No, well, you know.
And you know, cockpit's beautiful, and you kept, I mean, you've updated the gauges and stuff, but it kept a very classic look.
Yeah, we've tried to keep everything, if the hood was closed, that you would not necessarily know that this car has been modified. Got the wrinkle coat on the dash, and we've got classic instrument gauges with electronic speedometer and tachometer.
Well, now, the 2000 would have had a 2-liter engine in it. It probably no longer has that same 2-liter engine.
No, it does have a 2-liter engine in it, but it is a late model one now.
Well, let's have a look at that.
All right, let's do that.
Wow, that is, wow.
That's a typical response.
Wow, what am I looking at?
This is a Japanese market Nissan SR20 DET engine.
Is it like a crate engine? Or?
This engine was found in the Japanese market Nissan Silvia, in the last version of that called the S15. This was approximately a 2001 engine.
Aluminum?
All aluminum, 16 valve, variable valve timing.
Turbocharged?
Turbocharged from the factory.
How many horsepower?
250 stock, and
Holy
we've played with the boost a
treat
bit.
that
yeah,
too,
of course, yeah. Of course.
So I mean, this weighs 2,000 pounds?
2,150 pounds.
That is a lot of horsepower for
Our
that.
normally aspirated cars, we can get down to about 1950 with this engine.
Michael, you should be very pleased with what you've done, and the owner, James, should be very proud.
Thank you very much.
67 Datsun 2000 Roadster. Yowza. And then some. Well, Mike, this is a bright yellow car.
It is bright.
It is bright. The bugs seem to like it. They think it's a big flower. But this is a what? This is a 73 240Z Scarab.
Yes.
Now, tell me about the Scarab. They were like from California or
Scarab was a company out of Northern California in the mid-70s that used to do the conversions from the 6 over to the Chevy V8.
Uh-huh.
It was a kit you could either have them build or you could buy the entire kit and do yourself.
What all's 240Z and what all's Scarab?
Body mods on the outside, the hood is fiberglass, the front air dam is glass, the front and rear flares are glass. For the interior, they changed the seats, the steering wheel, and I added a 4-point roll bar.
And you've thrown a few extra gauges over
Threw
here.
a few extra gauges in there, a little brighter, a little easier for me to see.
Yeah.
And they're a little more, I think, accurate than the originals.
So how long did you work on the restoration?
5 years.
Wow. The whale tail is crazy though. I mean, that's a...
Yeah, it's a fiberglass tail, and we molded it right into the original metal deck lid.
And then it looks like the back is...
Rolled the rear pan and took all the bumpers and the seams out and filled them in.
And even the way the flares are molded in is really nicely done. So you say it's a V8 conversion.
Yes.
Let's go look at that. Okay. So what are we looking at? It's a 350 Chev?
It's a brand new 350. It's a 69 350 4-bolt main block that I found. Still in the paper.
Really?
Yeah. So I got together with my engine builder and we sat down and did the math. I told him what I wanted and we put it together. And I told him I was going to run a very unique intake.
Well, I was just going to say that is a very cool intake.
It's a takeoff of the original GM intake that they put on the 69 Z28s that was an option.
Oh yeah. Now, I mean, even at a Z-car show, this thing's got to get tons of attention.
It attracts attention.
Not just bugs.
Because of the color gets them over there.
It attracts people. Wow. So you having a good time at this?
Loving it. It's my first big show with it since we finished it. And,
people digging it?
Yes.
Yes, they are. Well, I
Seem
am
to
too,
be.
man. So 1973 240Z Scarab.
Yes.
Very
Thank
cool
you.
car, man.
Thank you.
Wow.